Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. In this video I will talk about in-flight FMC procedures, what we do in flight with the FMC, handy tools, and how you can modify climb, cruise and descent speeds. Follow along for this new video and I hope you enjoy. So we are currently climbing at our regular speed schedule 250 knots below flight level 100 or 10,000 feet for places which have a higher transition altitude. But we can also go to our active climb page if you press the VNAV key, and you see our economy speed indicated here 320 knots / Mach 0.830, and I can change that. So if I type in 330 knots and Mach 0.84 in case I want to fly this speed, I can put it in here. Now it says modified. My other colleague would confirm this. We execute it, and now our new selected speed above the transition altitude, or excuse me, above 10,000 feet or flight level 100 will be 330 knots and Mach 0.84. So you will see as soon as we cross flight level 100, our speed will change to 330 knots, and then later on conversion it will change to fly a constant Mach number of Mach 0.84. So that is one way how you can manipulate the speeds via the FMC, and there you go, it just changed to 329. It should be 330 knots, but now you see it automatically will accelerate because we are in VNAV. So it takes all the information I put in on the VNAV climb page, so I don't have to adjust anything by myself. Of course, I can always go into speed intervention by clicking this speed selector knob, and now I can manually override the speed. So let's say for example 310 knots. So now we will only climb with 310 knots. And if I want to remove the speed, I can just do so by clicking the speed selector, and now it goes back to 329 knots. And of course you can override the speed anytime, so we can change it back to something like this, execute, and now you see speed 320 knots. I just wanted to show you some quick FMC features in flight, and I'm on the active economy cruise page, and we're flying to Newark from Frankfurt, and we got like 7.5 hours left, so pretty long flight. We departed heavy, that is why we're only cruising at flight level 320. As you can see, our recommended flight level 320, optimum 328. And you can see up here it says step 2 flight level 340 at time 15:07 Zulu. If we can check our time, it's 14:51 right now. So at that time, in 131 nautical miles, the airplane is light enough to step to flight level 340. Also, if you want to play with the cruise speeds, you can see a LRC long range cruise prompt. If I click that, we would modify our speed to long range cruise. So it would be Mach 0.841, that is higher than our current economy speed, which is 0.83. So in economy you burn less fuel but you take more time, and in long range cruise you burn a little bit more fuel but you get to your destination a little bit faster. You can also monitor here the time. If we would fly in long range cruise, our estimated arrival time in Newark would be 22, 21, 20. It's jumping up and down by 1 minute. So if you remember this number, 2220 Zulu for our arrival time in Newark, and the planned arrival fuel of 17.1, and let's compare it to our economy speed schedule. So we fly 2 minutes more or even 3 minutes more, and we save like roughly 400 pounds of fuel. So you can see the trade-off. You fly slower, obviously you arrive a little bit later, but you save some fuel. So if you're a little bit tight on fuel, it definitely makes more sense to fly in the economy cruise. So another topic I want to talk about is the engine out procedure. In case we would lose an engine in flight right now, we are probably too heavy and too high to maintain this altitude. So if we hit the VNAV page, we are on the active economy cruise page. You can see an engine out prompt. If we would select this engine out prompt, you would see the engine out cruise altitude flight level 191. That is the altitude, basically the maximum altitude, as you can see here, that the airplane is capable of flying in case we would lose an engine. The time right now we have both engines running, but if we would have an engine failure, we would have to drift down to this altitude, and I would have to execute this and put it in VNAV, and we could descend on a VNAV path down to our maximum single engine ceiling, flight level 191. Also, the FMC is giving us an engine out speed. This would be our best speed to descend at 261 knots. Same here as on the normal cruise page. You can see the optimum altitude and recommended altitude if we would lose an engine. This here is also an important feature because if you lose an engine, you have more drag and you fly slower than with two engines. You could see that our estimated time of arrival is at 1:17 Zulu, so this is like 3 hours behind our scheduled time of arrival, and it would also indicate us that we would arrive with 0.0 pounds of fuel. That is letting us know that if we would lose an engine right now, of course we couldn't continue 7.5 or 10 hours in that case to Newark. Of course, losing an engine is a mayday and a emergency, so you would just scan around here for suitable airports where you could land, a runway which is long enough, and suitable weather conditions. And we can erase this, and now we're back on the active economy cruise page. Another interesting feature in the FMC of a lot of Boeing aircraft is the RTA progress feature. And you can see, for example, LIPSO, and if we switch to route data, LIPSO, we're estimated at 15:16 Zulu. So that is in roughly 19 minutes. If we go back to VNAV and RTA, and obviously I can make my life easy, copy this waypoint, go to RTA progress, insert it here on the fix, and our LEX route data indicated to us that we would arrive at 15:16. For example, if we are in a hurry or ATC needs us there at a specific time, for example 15:14 Zulu, we can insert it here, our time which we want to have, and basically the airplane is telling us unable RTA. So we are not fast enough, or the airplane cannot fly fast enough to reach that waypoint by the time we wanted to. It is telling us here our what we could do is we could reach this waypoint by 15:15.7 Zulu. So that is a neat feature in case of planning, and in case ATC tells you, hey, be by that waypoint in like 10 minutes, and you can check here if it's possible or not, and if it's possible, what kind of speed you have to fly to reach that waypoint. So for example, let's try it 2 minutes later. So it's like 15:18. So it's calculating. Now this is possible, but we would have to reduce our airspeed to Mach 0.739er. So we definitely have to reduce our airspeed, but then we could make this waypoint at that specific time. So I'm just going to hit erase, and there we go. So a very interesting and handy feature for some situations. The 777 also has this handy alternate feature, so you can see alternate list, and you can check for all the alternate airports which are around. So we can see, for example, Amsterdam, and we can select this prompt, and then we could go divert now if we would have to divert to Amsterdam, and the airplane automatically tells us when we would arrive in Amsterdam and what our remaining fuel would be in case we would divert to Amsterdam. So 1520 Zulu, it would take us roughly 19 minutes to divert to our alternate Amsterdam. So a very handy page during cruise is the progress page. You can see a couple of waypoints, basically where we're flying to, and the next waypoint and our destination. And you can see the distance to go. Our total distance to go is 3,203 nautical miles, and our estimated arrival time 2224 Zulu with 17.3 thousand pounds of fuel basically. And this is important for fuel checks. We can hit the position report, so you can see our flight Frankfurt Newark position report. Last position was Ravlo at time 15:01, altitude flight level 320, and our position fuel at this waypoint Ravlo was 124.7. And we would have to cross-check this position fuel against our flight plan. So if we check Ravlo, we should have had fuel 131.4. So we're definitely way below the fuel which we should have on board. So this right now would be worth a consideration if you could continue flying, if you would have to divert for fuel, or what is going on. As you can see here on our navigation display, there is a green dot S/C for step climb. And if we go to our cruise page, you can see our step to flight level 340 at 5 nautical miles, which is represented by the step climb symbol right here. So that is letting us know that we could step to flight level 340 now in 3 nautical miles. So I can already set 340, and of course you would have to talk to ATC if they clear you for flight level 340, and if they clear you now, we could step up 340. Hit the altitude switch, thrust rev, VNAV speed. It is updated our new cruise level, flight level 340, and we're stepping to 340. Something else which I wanted to show you is you can copy a route. We are now on the active route 1 page. If I hit route copy, now it says route copy complete. We go to route 2, and now we have the same route in route 2 as we do in route 1. And this gives us the option that we could put a different arrival into Newark as in route 1. For example, if we expect ILS 04 left, I'm just going to select some random stuff here, and then we check the route 2 legs page, and we just make sure everything makes sense. Now we have a second route set. We can go back to our active route, and in case they change runways later on in Newark, we can just go route 2, activate it, and we already have a different approach which we might also expect set. So this saves some time, especially when it gets busy during the final descent phase, and when you're getting close to your destination airport. Thank you so much for watching my content. I really appreciate it. Please leave a like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments what you want to see next. Thank you so much and have a nice day.